The dawn of July 1st, 1916, exploded with the roar of over 1,500 British guns as they unleashed an earth-shattering barrage on German lines along the Somme River in northern France. The air trembled, and the ground quaked under relentless artillery fire. British and French troops, numbering in the hundreds of thousands, braced themselves in muddy trenches, their bayonets gleaming in the early morning light. With whistles blown and hearts pounding, they surged forward in one of the most ambitious and tragic offensives of World War I. The Battle of the Somme had begun. What followed would become one of the deadliest campaigns in human history, altering the course of the war and leaving an indelible mark on the nations involved. Welcome to History in a Hurry. I'm Professor Malcolm Mazur, and in this episode we will learn about the Battle of the Somme during World War I. The Battle of the Somme was primarily a British-led offensive launched against German forces along a 15-mile front near the Somme River in France. Initially planned as a joint operation between British and French forces to break through German lines and relieve pressure on the French army at Verdun, the Somme quickly became a predominantly British endeavor. The plan called for a massive week-long artillery bombardment intended to obliterate German defenses and barbed wire, allowing Allied infantry to advance with minimal resistance. However, this strategy critically underestimated the depth and resilience of German fortifications. On July 1, 1916, after 7 days of shelling, over 100,000 British troops went over the top. What awaited them was a nightmare. The artillery barrage had failed to destroy many German machine gun nests and deep dugouts. As British soldiers advanced across no man's land in tight formations, they were met with a storm of bullets. By the end of the day, the British suffered nearly 60,000 casualties, making it the bloodiest single day in British military history. Thousands fell within minutes of leaving their trenches, victims of entrenched German firepower and poor tactical planning. Despite the devastating losses, the battle raged on for more than 4 months from July to November 1916. The Allies made slow and costly gains, often measured in mere yards. Trench warfare, mud, barbed wire, and the persistent threat of death created a grueling environment for soldiers on both sides. New technologies, such as tanks, made their debut during the Somme. On September 15, 1916, the British introduced the Mark I tank near Flers Courcelette. Though mechanically unreliable and slow, these armored vehicles signaled a new era of warfare and had a psychological impact on German troops. Leadership during the battle has long been a subject of controversy. British General Sir Douglas Haig, commander of the British Expeditionary Force, faced intense criticism for his persistence in ordering frontal assaults despite high casualties. Some historians argue Haig was inflexible and detached from the realities on the ground, while others suggest he was adapting to unprecedented conditions and gradually wearing down German resistance. German commanders, too, faced immense strain. Erich von Falkenhayn, the German chief of general staff, had hoped Verdun would drain French strength, but instead, the Somme turned into a war of attrition for both sides. French forces, though heavily committed at Verdun, played a crucial role in the southern sector of the Somme offensive. Their experience and coordination helped make more progress than the British in some areas. French General Ferdinand Foch contributed to maintaining pressure on the Germans and coordinating operations along the front. However, even French gains were limited and came at a steep cost in lives. By the time the battle ended in mid-November due to weather and exhaustion, the Allies had advanced roughly 7 to 10 miles. This meager territorial gain came at an enormous human price. The British suffered approximately 420,000 casualties, the French around 200,000, and the Germans about 465,000. Over 1 million men were killed, wounded, or missing, an appalling testament to the horrors of industrialized warfare. Villages, farmland, and entire landscapes were obliterated, leaving behind a desolate battlefield littered with the scars of relentless artillery fire. The Battle of the Somme did not achieve a decisive breakthrough, but it marked a turning point in the war's perception and conduct. For the British public, the enormous loss of life sparked outrage, grief, and a re-evaluation of military leadership. It also forged a new identity for the British Army, transforming it from a small professional force into a mass conscripted army hardened by fire. On the German side, the heavy casualties weakened morale and signaled that their opponents were growing stronger and more capable of sustaining long offensives. In the larger context of World War I, the Somme highlighted the brutal realities of trench warfare and the difficulty of achieving quick victories. It emphasized the need for tactical innovation, better coordination, and the use of new technologies. While it failed to end the stalemate on the Western Front, it contributed to the gradual attrition of German forces, setting the stage for future Allied offensives and eventual victory. The fields of the Somme remain a solemn reminder of sacrifice, strategy, and the human cost of war. Today, cemeteries and memorials stand where once only shell craters and shattered hopes lay, ensuring that the legacy of those who fought and died is never forgotten. Thanks for racing through history with us on History in a Hurry. If you enjoyed today's quick dive into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a fast-paced trip through time. Please reply in the comments with ideas for our next history lesson. See you in the next one.